What's up, college football fans? It is week 3 of the college football season, and there is a lot of great games to break down. It is Aaron Murray, Eric McLean, and this is the Mac and Murray College Football Show. We appreciate all the love on social media, here on YouTube. Like, subscribe. The goal right now, 30K in the next 7 to 10 days. We're so close. There's so much good stuff. Your boys are working hard for you. So if you're joining us right now, hit that like, go subscribe if you aren't, because we got a lot of great content coming out all season. The film reviews have been a lot of fun to break down as well here in week 2, and we're going to be doing that all season long. EMAC, it's week 3, baby. How you feeling?
We're cranking it up. Okay. We had week 1 where it was just like the greatest thing ever. Week 2 ended up being very nice, very good week, but the juice is back. The numbers are back, the ratings, all those things. We're going to get back to status quo here and just a loaded week, kicking it off with your boys going to Rocky Top. And I'm excited to talk about this. I want to talk about this game personally, like things that you experienced, and then also dive into the action, because this is one of the toughest places to play. I saw a clip of Lenore Sellers with our guy, Darian Rencher, the other day, and they asked him the top toughest places to play. And listen, he hadn't played everywhere in the SEC, right? But he said Rocky Top, number 1. And so I kind of want to hear your list and hear, if that checks out with you as well.
Well, listen, when Tennessee's good, which they are right now, and they were later on, especially my last season at Georgia, it is the most intimidating venue. And I haven't played in the Big Ten. Like, I haven't been to Ohio State. I haven't been to Michigan. Like, those places look crazy. Penn State wideout, crazy. But Neyland, when they're good and they're rocking, you can't hear. I remember, like, we were backed up, had to go 2-minute drive to tie it to go in the overtime, and I'm just trying to get a play out, EMAC, and no one. I'm screaming, and no one can hear a single word coming out of my mouth. I just had to use complete hand signals. So it's awesome. It looks like the Coliseum on steroids. I remember literally driving up the first time, be like, "Oh my God, this is like me as a gladiator going into battle." In the Coliseum,
right?
100,000 people.
Yeah.
It is very tough.
So I don't know if you knew this. So I was committed to Tennessee back in the day. So I was going there. And Philip Fulmer, like, I grew up in Knoxville. I grew up right down.
So you've been to the stadium,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know what time it is. Running through the Power T, Rocky Top at the top of your lungs. That was like my dream. And that they fired Philip Fulmer, man, and brought in Lane Kiffin. I was like, no thanks. Like, I'm good. I don't want any part of this. And that's how I stumbled, into Clemson. Dan Brooks was actually the guy. I don't know if you remember that name. He was the defensive line coach, really well renowned, like one of the best ever D line coaches at Tennessee. And so he was my guy. I knew him forever. And then he gets hired by Dabo. That's kind of how I found out where Clemson even was. But I was Rocky Top all the way, man. And that place is crazy. Like, my first college game ever was Tim Tebow versus Eric Berry in the stadium right there. And it was crazy. It was unbelievable. So I can only imagine, if you're the opposing quarterback, what's that's like.
Yeah. So I was in Knoxville yesterday. I was speaking at their touchdown club at Calhoun's right there on the river.
Best place to go. Come on.
Best place to go. And it was packed. It was a packed house. They were excited. They were pumped. They were cheering me, booing me, all the above. We had a great time. I really enjoyed my time there, so appreciate the touchdown club of Knoxville for inviting me once again this year. But there's a lot of excitement. They believe in this football team. They believe in their new quarterback, Joey Aguilar. And I think we need to start there when we break down this game, because that was the big storyline this offseason. You have this 5-star freshman, the highest paid quarterback of all time, in Nico Iamaleava. He comes to Tennessee. I thought he had, it was a roller coaster year last year. It was good. First 2 weeks of the season, I was doing my quarterback breakdown saying, I love this dude. Throws with anticipation, good arm, obviously athletic, big body. Raven, like I'm Raven, Joey Aguilar through the first 2 games. And then it kind of went downhill after that. And it was just kind of a roller coaster. So we know what happened in the offseason. Nico goes to UCLA. Tennessee gets Joey essentially from UCLA, somewhat of a first of college football trades. And he has looked the part, EMAC, through the first 2 games of the season. And I did the film breakdown. If you haven't seen it, go watch it on our channel. Good anticipation, accurate with the football, can push it down the field. He is athletic too. I've been impressed. I know it's against Syracuse, who may not or may be good this year. And then against the opponent they had last week, East Tennessee, I believe. But overall, I mean, the confidence in the team, I want you to hit on this from a non-quarterback here. When a new quarterback comes out there and plays like that, how much confidence does it give the rest of the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's instant, energy and it's instant confidence because you're coming in and you're probably like, oh man, I don't know, because he wasn't there in the spring. I mean, he got there in the summertime, late in the summertime, and you're kind of feeling like, okay, was this our second, third, fourth choice to get to this point? And then he goes in there and balls and really delivers strikes, and that's what we just didn't know, right? We saw him have success at App State and do really well, and his journey's insane. I mean, going
Yeah.
from like community college to starting Tennessee at or starting at the University of Tennessee, it's insane to see his growth, to see his journey. But I just didn't know if it'd work. I didn't know if it would translate. I
No, I
saw
don't
him
think
live
anyone
and in
did.
person against Clemson, and it was bad. Like it was not good last year. And so I'm just thinking, okay, well, we'll see what that does at this level. Now entering SEC play, it'll be another story. Can he continue to do those things? But just the confidence of the team right now, absolutely. I mean, they're feeling great. They're feeling like this was the best decision. And I've been thoroughly impressed with Tennessee's offense. I didn't know how they were going to be able to take another step forward after everything that they lost, quarterback, running back specifically, a couple of great wide receivers as well. But they've looked tremendous so far.
Oh, yeah, they've looked good. I mean, obviously, Joey's looked good. I think Starr and Deshaun at running back have looked good. Brazel and Matthews on the outside have looked good as well. So, like, yeah, it's not against a Georgia caliber defense or an SEC defense yet, but I still think confidence
Right.
and going out there and executing at a high level, like, that translates. Like, you can watch the tape and say, okay, what they're doing right now in the pass game, in the running game, while it may not be as consistent going forward, it can still produce and it can still produce as a high level. Like I was someone that was not high on Tennessee at all to start the season. And we've seen the SEC right now. It's kind of all over the place. Everyone kind of looks average. Even, LSU, we can say look great week one, but now you're kind of saying like, okay, well, Clemson didn't look great last week. So how good does that win really look? Florida loses, Alabama lost, Texas lost. Georgia's been very pedestrian to the first few games of the season. So like Tennessee right now, based on what we see in the film, is in the thick of it, does have an opportunity to be a true contender in the SEC, especially if Joey continues to play the way he does. The big question is this offense against Kirby Smart.
Right.
And I knew it's a new year, it's a new team every year for both teams, but still, you look at the track record. 2021, 17 points. 2022, 13 points. 2023, 10 points. Last year, 17 points. They've yet to get over 20 points against a Kirby Smart led football team. And the big reason is EMAC is the type of players that Georgia has. And this is the guys that get every year, no matter if it's a 3-year starter or a freshman, they have big, fast, physical defenders that can cover sideline to sideline, that can kind of play in that gray area where
Mhm.
they can essentially be a seventh man in the box to stop the run, but they have the speed to get on the edge to stop those quick screens on the outside as well. Like not everyone has that hybrid type player. Georgia has that, which gives them the opportunity to really slow down this defense. So, or excuse me, slow down this offense. So I do think that's part of this thing is Kirby has the number
Right.
of this offense.
Which that
Do you
matters.
think that can change?
Yeah. No, well, we'll see. I don't think that you're looking at it from this year. What is Georgia's defense compared to other years? How loaded do you think they are? At the end of the day, I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like Kirby, the best coach in college football, a guy that has just found a way, right? Go out and get these players, has managed the game, has transitioned with the times. And at the end of the day, defense is always a calling card. And so
Yep.
guys are going to keep emerging, guys are going to keep evolving and turn into these beasts. But do you feel like the balance attack? Do you feel like Joey can take another step here? Maybe, we'll see. And is Georgia down? So you're looking back and forth, kind of at those two things. And it's going to be a tall task. But my bigger question, not if they can do it, what's the number? What do they have to get to? Does 21
I
win
don't
you the
think they got to
game?
get a lot. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest. I don't think they got to get a lot. Hey, Mac,
I don't think so
I
either.
look at
Because Tim
Georgia's
Banks,
offense.
that defense is going to be, I mean, they're
Oh yeah,
they're good. They're good. And this Georgia offense, as you have shown us, ain't the Georgia offense we're used to seeing. Offensive line not to the standard 2 years in a row
Mm.
now, which is a little baffling when you see how they're playing. Gunner, got to be Gunner, got to play, got to take some risks, push the ball downfield, which I know you've shown ad nauseum.
But that's not. But once again, that's not his fault. Completely on him.
It's
the
always the
lack of
quarterback's
explosive
fault,
plays.
Aaron.
I
Always the
still think
quarterback's
if
fault.
we had to rank an order of issues for Georgia, it's been the offensive line. Sorry
Yeah.
to hate on the big boys up front, but the offensive line's got to get it done. They have to protect. There were a few times last week that Bobo called a play to take a shot down the field, and there was leakage up front where he didn't have time to get through his reads and had to get out of there. Gunner's got to be better. O-line's got to be better. I think the receivers are doing their part on the outside when they have the opportunity. But this is a game where you're going to go in, and we started this segment talking about this. Neyland is one of the most intimidating, loudest places in America.
Yeah.
They feel good. They know Georgia's had some issues up front. They know that Gunner's making his first true road start.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be difficult for Georgia
Big
to
deal.
move the ball.
Yeah.
It is. This offensive line, they're going to have to run it. They're going to have to move bodies up front. And you said I think Tim Banks is a great DC, and they're gonna load the box. They're gonna bring pressure, and they're gonna say, you know what? If we're gonna lose this game, it's gonna be because of Gunner
Correct.
having a game of his life throwing the football, and that's what I would do honestly. If you watch the first 2 weeks of Georgia, and I'm a DC, I'm gonna bring exotic blitzes, which Tim Banks does, to confuse an offensive line that's been struggling in pass pro, and force Gunner to throw the football.
Exactly. Twist your guys up front, get them in different places, get those guys trying to pass. Listen, those rules are great until guys start crossing away, and then you don't know what to do. You get on different levels, especially if your line struggling. That is a quick way to take the game away from Georgia. Make them one-dimensional. Try to get them to force to throw the ball, and then when you can't, then it's all bets are off. And how much can you put field position into play? How much can you make them feel like, man, we've got to take advantage of this. We got the ball back. We got to force the issue. Then bad plays happen. Turnovers happen. Everything you're saying here makes me think you're picking Tennessee. Is that what you're about to do? Are you about to break?
I think everything I'm saying is more leaning towards the fact that this is going to be a low scoring game. That's
For
what I'm
sure.
leaning
Take
towards.
the
Like, you guys,
under.
what
Let me see
point
what
is
the
either
number is here. 50,
what's
50
the
and a
point
half.
total?
50 and a half is the over under.
Yeah, I would take the under on that one. I think if a team can get to 21, they feel pretty good winning this football game. New quarterback for Georgia, offensive line struggling, intimidating environment. It's going to be tough to move the ball, and I still think Tennessee, while I like what they've done, they have not gone against a defense to Georgia's caliber, and we know that they've struggled against Georgia over the past 4 years with this offense, and Kirby just having the numbers. So I think this is a 20-17 game, somewhere around there, and I'm going to trust the fact that Kirby and Georgia have won 8 straight times. Kirby has his number, and I think this defense is going to be able to get a turnover or two, and I think Georgia's going to be able to get the run game going. So I think it's a toss-up. I'm going to lean towards the Dogs when it is a close game. So I think the Dogs squeak one out, but I would not be surprised at all. Like I said, if Tennessee wins this one, it's going to be a 4-quarter battle. I think it's going to be a great football game.
So you're taking Georgia to cover. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll take what's the
Three
spread?
and a half. 3.5.
I'll take Tennessee to cover.
Georgia to win, Tennessee to cover.
Well, I said 20-17, so that hook right there, that half, I'll take it.
You can buy the hook. You can go find that somewhere. I'm sorry you guys just have to listen to that homer just say that BS. Tennessee's winning this football game. Numbers, I get it, whatever. I think everything you said about the Georgia defense making a play, making a turnover, the Tennessee defense is going to do that. I think they're going to rattle this guy in Gunner. I don't trust the offense. You've shown me. I've watched 20 minutes of why I don't trust this offense. There's no way they're going in to that stadium and doing that. So give me the balls here to break the curse. And if not, it'll be a fun day on Sunday where we can talk about this.
I love it. All right, let's go to another big-time matchup. The Florida Gators going to LSU. And the big question is, I don't know if you've ever been to a situation like they did a week ago, losing to USF.
I have never.
And
I
now
can promise you in my whole life, I've never dealt with that, ever.
Yeah. And then now Billy Napier is back on the hot seat.
Yeah.
The question is, does this talented football team, because I still believe they're very talented on both sides, I still believe in DJ Lackway, is this the moment where they truly band together, block out the noise, you're going into the true Death Alley, and say it's us against the world, screw everyone else, and we're going to go out there and get it done? Or is this too big of a distraction and this team kind of crumbles under the pressure that is now
I think in this
weighed
new
on them and
world,
their coaching
dude,
staff?
it's hard. it's hard to get away from it, right? Like you're hearing everybody, you already would hear from like family members and friends, but now it's everywhere you look. Social
Yep.
media is probably playing in the facility because they just have, Sports Center or something on, and they're hearing people talking about it. How bad that game was, and embarrassing to lose in the swamp, to a G5 team. I get they're good. We'll talk about them in a second, but it is what it is. You're Florida. You have the better athletes. You have the bigger athletes, faster, whatever, and you didn't use them. You didn't use them to your disposal there, and I think that's, highly unfortunate. Because of all that, I think you're just in the stink. I just think this is gonna be a bad year for Florida. I think it's already the toughest schedule in America, one of the toughest schedules in America. You're not doing yourself any favors by adding pressure to yourself by losing a game you're not supposed to. And LSU, similar to what I'm going to say about Clemson, I think they have that hangover and it's going to wake them up. I think they're going to kind of be like, okay, we can't take a week off, can't just kind of play our B game, our C game, our D game, however you want to grade it. Brian Kelly, don't get mad at me for grading your team. I'm sorry. Okay,
Yep.
we don't want anybody getting frustrated. But I think LSU is the team that I think really bounces back. I think we see more of what we did from them, in week one, and similar game plan, right? Blitz them, light them up. I want to see, can he make decisions quickly? Can he get the ball out? I would do the exact same thing I did week one against Clemson.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna flip it to the other side for Florida here. Can we stop being so cute? And I know for Billy Napier, it's kind of his identity in offense, the shifts, the motions, the play action, the trick plays. But at the end of the day, you have what I would consider one of the best running backs in the SEC in Jaden Ball, who did not get enough touches at all a week ago. I mean, you could have just given him the ball 50 times and you would have scored 30 points. And you have a premier quarterback and you have really talent around him with Brown and Eugene Wilson. It's like you don't have to be you're not a small school. You're not a say a Vandy, who, we love Vandy. We'll talk about Vandy in a little bit, love what they're doing, but you don't need all the tricks. Like when you don't have the talent, you
Right.
need the tricks because you
Right.
got to catch a defense off guard. You got to keep them off balance. You got to create certain angles. You have to get them communicating. But when you got dudes, sometimes just line up and play football.
Correct.
And that is my challenge to Florida and Billy Napier and this staff is can we just line up on the road, which is going to be tough to communicate, and just line up and say, you know what, let's just play football and just say, my guy's better than your guy.
Right.
My
Right.
guy is better than your guy. Can you, Florida offensive line, DJ Lagway, receivers, win your one-on-one matchup, play in and play out? And I think they're good enough to do it. Like I love LSU. I love Baker. I love what they're doing defensively. In his second season, we saw it versus Clemson. But once again, Clemson hasn't looked good in offense for 2 weeks. Is this LSU defense truly improved?
Mhm.
Can you say, you know what? We're going to prove to the country that they aren't and that we're still good enough to go out there and win games. So, like, I'm leaning LSU. Don't get me wrong. I think LSU wins this football game. I love Nessmeyer. I love the receivers. I think Brian Kelly's the better coach in this game. I like what Baker's doing on defense. I believe that they are going to be and they are improved at all three levels of that defense. But I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I do think people are expecting Florida to come in here, waving the white flag, screw our coach, screw the season. We're done. We're giving in to all the social media BS, and we're not going to compete. I think they're going to compete. I think this is going to be I think this is going to be a good football game. I think DJ Lagway's too good to now that third game. I thought it was going to be last week, and I thought I saw improvements EMAC last week, but I think this third game you see DJ Lagway shine and make this thing competitive.
You said he's walking into the real Death Valley. I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's going to be hard, man. It's going to be loud. That defense is going to hit you. This ain't USF. All right. This is the boys in Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
the
but
Baton
USF's
Rouge
a good
Bandits.
damn defense.
They're good, but it
Don't
ain't
sleep
LSU.
on their defense.
And we'll find out. We'll find out about them here with Miami when they play a team that is physical, lines of scrimmage, dominating, which is what they've done the first two games. We'll see how, really dominant and what that comes to fruition here. But I like LSU. I really do. I think that, they're one of the best teams in the country. We have them number 2 in our poll just because of the hangover. We flipped, Ohio State there because they look so good, but they could easily still be number 1 in the country for our poll there. I think Nuss bounces back. And ultimately, I think the defense is so improved. Like talking to Jacob Hester about this team, he was so blown away by the physicality, the speed, the awareness, and just the game plan. And again, I think that translates. It's going to be at home. It's going to be loud. It's going to be scary. And
I don't
I
think
don't
that
know.
I
I'm
don't
not
think that I
saying
don't think that I
DJ is
don't think
not
that
like
gets to
that.
DJ. I really don't think that gets to DJ.
Well, we'll see because Weeks
Uh,
might, and the other kids might. They might get there, and that's a game changer when you're on your back and you hear
do
100,000
you like the
fans
9.5
going nuts.
number? It's a
It's
nine and a
nine and
half
a
right now
half.
for
Give me
LSU.
LSU all the way. Absolutely, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
am not we went into this offseason and heading into the season talking about how good this Florida roster is.
yeah.
And I'm not out here saying that they're
You
world
did.
beaters or
You did.
I did. Because I think it is a good roster. I really do. And they lose a game against a I would say
Good.
very good,
Yeah.
probably as of right now, looks like going to be the group of 5 representative in the playoff, a team that has a legitimate quarterback, that has a defense that's tenacious in USF, a bunch of veterans that have come back from a year ago, a team that's been competitive against Alabama in the past couple of years, and a head coach that's gonna be somewhere in the Power 5 or Power 4 next year. So, like, I know the loss sucks. You haven't lost against a team other than, in the state of Florida besides Miami and FSU in, like, 30 years. But I'm still in belief that this roster can get it done and make the game competitive.
Mm.
So I think LSU wins because I love LSU this year, but I would take Florida with the 9.5. I would take
Okay.
Florida with 9.5.
All right. I like it.
We'll leave
I
it at
like it.
that.
Well, I guess we're on the same side with Tennessee. You took the balls,
Yeah.
but okay, that's good. That's really good. Let's move on to this game because we keep wanting to bring them up so much in USF. This is a 17.5 point game. They're traveling to Miami. I think 17.5 was the same number that we saw when we were recording against Florida
Yep.
last week. Clearly, that was not right. We've talked about them so much. Let me talk about Miami. They're big, nasty, and strong on that offensive line. And I think what the recipe that we have seen for USF, which is great and it's good. And listen, if they beat the Canes, they're the number one team in the country. They're the best
Easily.
resume by far. Put them up there. They're in the playoff. They're going to dog walk the rest of their schedule. I just don't think that happens. This is a locked in team. There's no question marks on this team. There's no, what are they going to be? What are they going to do this? I think no, I know. I know what they have. I know the quarterback that they have. I know the offensive line and how dominant they are in that run game. And the one question mark we had preseason that we just didn't know who it was. I thought there were bodies. We didn't know who was going to step up. And it was those wide receivers, and they've been
Yep.
tremendous. I mean, it's been really fun to see, these guys really emerge. CJ making all kinds of crazy one-handed grabs, big touchdown catches, has looked really good kind of from a go-to guy, go and get it guy for Carson, like throw it up. He's going to come down with it, CJ Daniels. And then Malachi Toney, like freak show for a freshman to have the understanding of the offense that he does, to be able to really know what Carson is, see what Carson sees. I'm sure those guys are in the film room all the time. But the biggest difference, and I figured the offense would be fine. I knew that wasn't going to be a question mark. The issue was going to be the defense, and those guys are flying around, hitting people, playing really physical. The additions they made on the back end have been electric. And then you see, a guy like Ruben Bain in his final form, Akeem Mesidor in his final form,
Ooh.
everybody in the mid, like this. Maybe I'll take USF to cover. I'm going to let you talk here for a second. Maybe you can change my mind. But Miami, I think, is that team. And I think that they played the same strengths that USF plays, and I think they're marginally better. So you're going to see that in the game.
No, I agree. I think this Miami team is built the way you want to be built from the inside out. Really good offensive line play. You brought up Bain, that defensive line, how physical, tough they are.
Yeah.
They will match the mentality of USF,
Right.
but they're better at it. And I
Correct.
think that is the key. And I go back to that game versus Notre Dame. And then, for those who didn't watch the game, which I don't know many people who didn't watch it, yeah, the score was close. But as we alluded to in previous episodes, that game was not close at all. Like, that was a dominant performance by Miami, and the physicality showed up,
Mhm.
the ability to throw the football showed up. And I think that this is a team that's just gonna get better and better and better. And we talk about DJ Lagway and just the lack of his ability this offseason to work with his receivers because of the injury. Let's not forget, Carson Beck didn't participate in spring,
Correct.
didn't really participate in summertime. Really has only been able to gel with Tony and Daniels, the offensive line, the running backs, really for a short amount of time. And to see him week 1 perform the way he performed, to see him week 2, I know against a lesser performance, perform the way he performed. 76% completion percentage through 2 games, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He looks like the guy that Georgia fans thought they had a year ago, and they
Right.
did have a year ago.
Sure.
He just didn't have the guys around him that Miami has put in front of him that are going out there producing. Carson Beck is out here as a man on a mission right now.
Mhm.
He's a guy that's trying to prove everyone that he is the number 1 quarterback in the
Right.
country, that he is gonna be a first round pick next year. He's playing like that right now, and that's a guy, like I said, that's had 1 month to
Right.
gel throwing the football with these receivers. So this offense, which can dominate you in the run game, is only gonna get better
Mhm.
and better and better in the pass game. This is a complete Miami football team.
Yes.
This is one of the most complete football teams in America on both sides of the football. So I'm cheering for USF. I'm a Tampa boy. That's my team. And I hope they're going to be the group of 5 team. And you said it, like, you look at their schedule the rest of the year. I think they're going to be 11-1, 10-2. They'll be in the playoffs. But I think this is the point too where you had a tough game versus, I would say, a physical game against Boise State where you whooped them up. You kicked their ass. You had a physical game on the road against Florida. How much is left in the tank now,
Yeah.
to be honest?
Yeah.
I know that there's a
Oh,
sense
3
of
playoff
confidence for
games back
USF,
to
but how
back to
much is left in
back.
the tank, Mac?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do. And listen, back in my day, we only had 2 games. It was a one first round playoff and then the Natty. And by the time we got to that Natty, we were spent. I mean, it was
Yep.
hard. And we're going against, Alabama, a great team there. And so to do that 3 weeks in a row is very difficult. And listen, win or lose, we'll say lose. USF still needs to be highly ranked. They still are a
Oh, yeah.
very good team, and people need to understand that and value that. But that's a lot on them adding up, and we'll see. Again, as I said, if they win this game, they're the number 1 team in the country. But everything you just said about Carson Beck, his mentality, and speaking to him after that Notre Dame game, he knows it. He said a lot of people have been talking, and he said talk is cheap, action's expensive, and he's out there balling, and it's really fun to see. And I do agree with you. I think this offense can get marginally better as he continues to grow and his receivers continue to grow and mesh together and timing and figuring out there's nothing like live action to learn from and to understand how we want to do things. And so I'm right there with you. I think this is the most complete team. I think they've got a really good shot to make a statement here off a hot team in USF that has been running the table here in the first 2 weeks. And with 2, formally ranked wins, it's as impressive as you get. I
I will say this, Mac. One, just last thing on USF. Obviously, Byron Brown's gotta continue to play at a high level. No
Yeah,
turnovers the first
yeah,
2 games. He has to continue to protect it, run it. We love Golish as a head coach there at USF. I mean, this offense had 4.4 yards per carry versus Florida, which is a good defense, a really good physical defense. So, they can do it. He can do it. He's a big body. He's hard to bring down. He's gonna have to continue. I think his mindset needs to be, I just have to physically get through this game running the football, and then it's gonna get easier after this because I'll be
yeah,
going against guys that are not as big as some of these big boys in the SEC
right.
and ACC. So I do like him at the quarterback standpoint.
What do you
The
think they
weird
do
thing too
here?
is
Do you think we've talked about the tricking stuff. Do you think do you think USF, just what we've seen, has to get some breaks, has to be kinda tricky, or do you think they will literally line it up and say, "We think we're better than you, we're gonna run it down your throat"?
I'm sure there's gonna be a couple wrinkles here or there, but I do think he's a physical enough runner. There's a physical enough football team that they can line up and spread you out and try to play the numbers game, which Golish
Mhm,
does. It's all about
mhm.
numbers, and I
Yeah,
think right now Brown has shown the ability to kind of figure out this offense, and run it at a high level. So I to say that they're not gonna maybe try and do something sneaky that they haven't shown on film or some
right.
sort of sneak play or, reverse or whatever it may be, I think you're gonna have to bring it out. I think this is kind of the moment where, like, hey, we leave it all out there, um, but not to the extent of like what Florida tried to do to them last week.
Right,
I don't think
right.
they need to go that far in order to be competitive in this game. But guess what? It's on the CW. So, weird
Shout out
things
to
happen
the
on the
CW.
CW.
The CW just had one of the greatest games in Baylor and SMU, and now they get
Yeah,
this. Those guys are blessed and highly favored. That's
yeah,
unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
unbelievable.
All right, it's
All right, so
17 and a half.
I'll
17 and a
take
half. What's
Miami
your
with the
pick?
points here.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, man. My initial knee jerk last week when I saw the number, I was like, "No way. Florida can't win by that much." But then I tricked myself in thinking Boise's not that good. Who knows what USF's gonna be? Florida's gonna roll, and they didn't. I think there's more unknowns of Florida than there is of Miami. I'll roll with you. I'll roll with you.
Right.
Go ACC. Give me
Yeah,
the
and
points.
and plus USF ain't sneaking up on anyone either. You
They're
beat
not
Florida on the
anymore.
road.
They're not anymore. Yeah.
You the
Full
nation, we
attention.
respect you, Bulls.
Right.
Miami respects you. They ain't gonna be sleeping on you, there at that 4:30 spot on the CW. Alright, the next big game, Texas A&M on the road versus Notre Dame, trying to revenge the loss that they took to Notre Dame a year ago. I went back and watched A&M the first 2 weeks of the season last night, just because they really haven't played anyone, so I didn't watch them live, so I was watching the tape. Really impressed with the growth of Marcel Reed. I wouldn't say that it's perfect or it's elite,
Yeah.
but it looks good. And then you got Craver, you got Concepcion on the outside. I think this passing attack, it felt like they were trying to really grow the passing attack the first 2 games of the season. Weren't relying too much on Lavian Moss and Ruben Owens. I think they do get back a little bit more going forward against Notre Dame. And as they get into SEC play, saying, okay, we've built some confidence in the passing game. We like where it's at. We'll continue to hopefully see it move in the right direction. But we gotta run the football with Le'Veon Rubin and obviously with Marcel Reed and what he can do with his legs and then trusting this offensive line. So I think you will, A&M fans, see a little bit more of that run game continue to be a dominant force. And I think it's one of the best running games in the SEC. So I do think that this is going to be a big boy game
Yeah.
between A&M and Notre Dame.
What do you think about the sustainability of Reed being Mr. Do It All? I mean, he's obviously quarterback; he's throwing the ball, but he's also their leading rusher, attempts and yards. I mean, he's
But they
not the
haven't,
biggest
like
guy
I'm
in the
saying, like you
world.
turn
He's
on the
not the
tape,
biggest
like
guy.
there has been such an emphasis of let's develop the passing game to build confidence, knowing that we're going to win the first 2 games of the season,
Yeah.
and then knowing in the back of our pockets, we're going to have to rely on Le'Veon and Ruben
Hmm.
to really take the load off Marcel. Let's not overload them in the first 2 games of the season.
Okay.
Make sure that my mindset is like, let's make sure those guys are feeling great
Going
as
into
we
the
get ready
season.
for Notre Dame,
Right.
and
Right.
let's not get them all beat up in the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah, which maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I just, there's something to, identity. Who are we? What have we done? Now we're trying something new in the bigger game of the season, the biggest game so far of the season that, you know, I don't know, because those guys need to be hit. They need to feel that. And certainly
Well, it's
they
not like they
have.
haven't
They've
been.
had 13 and 12 carries. I mean, it's not like they've been, on the shelf there, but I am interested to see that game plan. If they feel they have to do that against Notre Dame, obviously these guys are going to hit him a lot harder. I think this is one of the best defenses in the country, especially that secondary, how fast, twitchy, long, those guys are for Notre Dame. And I'm interested to see the test, of this guy and Reed going against them. This is a different animal. And you're going to Notre Dame, which, tougher place to play.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, can they keep that up? I would like to see KC involved a little bit more, especially in the run game. I mean, watching him at NC State, he was Mr. Do It All, right? And that was a time where they didn't have great weapons. He pretty much was the weapon on that offense, but he's electric and he can do a
Yep.
lot of different things for you. So get the ball to him downfield, give him some sweeps, give him the ball out in space. But, looking at this Notre Dame team, man, coming off a bye. I mean, I know it's 2 big
So
dog
weird.
games.
I hate that.
I
I
hate
hate
it.
it.
I hate it. You gotta sit with that and think about it and
Oh,
think either what if or what the heck were we doing? And it just I don't love that vibe, from that. But I'm excited to see them back out there because I think that, CJ Carr looked great. I did not expect him to have the command that he did. Needs to be a little bit more efficient, a little more accurate, but that's just part of the game and having to throw it a bunch. But he looked like a baller. He was not afraid of the moment. He kept Notre Dame in it. There was a time where I believe Miami went up by 2 scores and they didn't flinch and they marched right back down and tied it up and got control of the ball and got it going. So I'm excited to see him back on the field. My biggest quarrel and my biggest you have got to do this for Notre Dame is give Jeremiah Love the ball. I mean,
oh my
I thought
god.
that was criminal. The amount, especially in the first half, the involvement in the offense and lack thereof that he was against Miami.
I mean, 10 carries in that first game against Miami, like, to the premier running back in college football is like you said, the criminal is the best word for it. I'm gonna go back to this bye week, and I did think CJ Carr played well when he got the handcuffs taken off of him and was able to throw the ball vertically down the field in the second half. But you're still You talk about, like, finding our identity, with A&M. I still think Notre Dame needs to find their identity.
Mhm.
'Cause I don't think they found it in week 1 versus Miami
Correct.
at
I
all.
agree.
They needed a week 2 game against Bumble F whoever to figure out this is what we
Not
wanna do, and
Bumble
this is
F.
who we are, and this is building confidence in CJ in the run game, and they didn't get it. I think that is the biggest problem heading into this game.
I agree.
You may say A&M has to find their identity and trust the running game. I think they all know what their identity is gonna be. I really do. I think they know it's gonna be a run game. I know that they believe now in the pass game could be better, with Marcel, but they know who they are. I don't know if Notre Dame knows who they are on
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
They did
And that's
they
fair.
I
That's
think that
fair.
first I think that bye week hurt them so
I
much,
agree.
and I think you're gonna see it in this game versus A&M.
Little rusty, little weird. The good thing
Yes.
is at home, you're not traveling. But I agree with you, and it's one of those things where, man, just take that momentum. You thought that you were in a good spot. You lose the game on a field goal. You don't finish the way you want. 2 big sacks to lose the game, to Miami. Let's get back out there. And then instead, you just got to wait.
You have 2 weeks. I
You
mean,
got
yeah,
to
you
wait.
gain momentum,
I know.
and then we've
It's
been off for
brutal.
2
It
weeks.
is
I just
brutal.
feel
And
like they
I
lost.
totally agree with you with the
The
figuring out the
schedule's
identity
stupid. Who the hell
piece.
schedules a bye after the first week of the
I don't
season?
know. But Notre Dame does weird things. So, we'll
Uh,
see. We'll
I would
see.
say this, like, let me, this A&M team and offense is better than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
Wigman looked horrendous in that game, 2
Yeah.
interceptions.
Yeah.
So I do think the offense is better in the run game. I think they're better in the pass game. They'll be more competitive against this Notre Dame team. Obviously, on the road, it's a little bit different than being in your home stadium. The bigger concern to me in this game, because we saw Miami bully Notre Dame, to be
Right.
honest. Like we saw them run the football. We saw that offense line push. And maybe Miami's offense line is better than A&M's offense line, but I still think that run game as a whole, with the quarterback as a threat, with Le'Veon and Reuben, and that offense line could be a better running game than what even Miami had, which gives me confidence in A&M. It's more the defense. This defense gave up 24 points to UTSA. They gave up 22 points to Utah State. They gave up 140 yards rushing to both teams on average. Like, that is not good enough for a
Correct.
Mike Elko-led defense.
Correct.
So if there is a path for Notre Dame, it is going to what you and I want to see them do. Run the football, run the football, run the football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if UTSA and Utah State can run the football the way they did,
Correct.
come on, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Let's not let's not outthink ourselves here.
Mhm.
This is a game Jeremiah Love needs to get closer to 20 carries.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And he's got another guy in Price right behind him. I mean,
Yeah.
run the football is going to be the name of the game. And certainly if, they're stacking the box and you've got numbers and play action works, sure, take your shots. But I do want to see you force the issue a little bit here, running the football. And I think the best tandem, in college football right now with those 2 running backs at Notre Dame. And Jeremiah Love needs to be the feature of that. He needs to be getting the ball in space, letting him do his thing. And with that said, rust outside of it, because I think there will be a little rust. And maybe it starts off slow and weird. But I think Notre Dame gets it done. 6.5's the number. Give me the Irish. I think they make some noise here. I think running the football, physicality up front, because those guys got a little bit embarrassed, that offensive line the last time they played. I think they're going to want to get it going because I certainly think they're one of the better in the college football as well.
Give me A&M. I think A&M
Oh,
wins this football game. So
you like the Aggies?
we're in different sides to
I don't know
3 of
about
the first 4
I
games. I
like
love
this.
it.
This
There's
is
gonna be some
great. This is
movement.
great. Should we remind everybody our records or just let it?
No,
We'll let it
we
ride.
start
We'll let
fresh
it
every week. We
ride.
start fresh every week. All right, the next big game, Clemson on the road versus Georgia Tech. I think this is gonna be an awesome football game.
Yeah.
We both love Georgia Tech. Brent Key's a freaking beast, one of my favorite coaches, in college football. Obviously, you have a love for the Tigers. So I'm gonna give you the first go at this one. Give me your thoughts on both sides and what you're expecting,
Yeah.
in this matchup in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just talked to Coach Key yesterday, and he's feeling good about his team, man. He loves his team. He likes the growth that he's seen, the resiliency, that they showed in the first game. 3 turnovers in the first 4 minutes of the football
Yeah.
game against Colorado. They had 10 turnovers all year. They had 3 in that game in the start of the game. I mean, that's crazy to see. And then they've got a little bit of case of the oopsies because they had 2 turnovers to start the game last week, and now they bounced back. And it was kind of fluky, weird things, but if you do that against Clemson, you're going to have real issues. Don't help
Big
them.
issues.
They need help right now. Do not help them. They're figuring out, talking about identity. They're trying to figure that out themselves of who they want to be. And listen, that first half against Troy was the worst I've seen. I mean, it was such bad football, bad decisions, bad plays, bad execution, guys not knowing what they're doing. But the second half gets you a little excited. And again, it's Troy. Not too much to get excited about, but there was competency. There was anticipating throws. There was throwing the ball before wide receivers were out of the route. There was throwing to the right guy when he was open. There was extending fakes and Cade doing a great job, and then bang, hitting a great shot there to the end zone. So I saw enough to where I think Clemson can figure it out, where I think Clemson can be like, oh, yeah, we are supposed to be good. We are supposed to be a good team here. The bad part about that is you're playing a very good football team in Georgia Tech, and they're looking at kind of what you do, and they're looking at what happened a year ago, and they're saying, we can copy all this. Let's go. Let's run the football. We're going to run counter a billion times. We're going to run our quarterback, who we rested him last week. Haynes King going to be back. The grittiest, hard-nosed football player in college football that plays quarterback is Haynes King, and he wants to get this done. It's been 9 years since Georgia Tech has been able to beat the Tigers, and they did it 9 years ago. I was on the team. It was terrible in 2014. A lot of turnovers by us. They were able to force the issue and make it happen, but I just think this is the game where we see Clemson be Clemson, where we see them throw the ball. They push the ball downfield. They run the ball
How healthy are
effectively.
they? How healthy are they?
They're fine. Antonio Williams, I assume, will be back. I think it was precautionary leaving your offensive lineman not playing. Same thing that they did with Haynes King. And again, the weird part is we'll get an injury report because this is a conference game. So we'll know, by about Thursday probably who's able to go and who's not.
I want to see. I think the biggest shocker to me through the first 2 games of the season is Klubnik minus 3 yards rushing. Like I think if you want to get going offensively, if you need to see some sort of spark from your quarterback who has been well below expectations. I mean, hell, he was my Heisman favorite heading to the season. I thought Cade was coming out guns blazing. The way he ended last season was just going to carry over to this season, and it hasn't been that. And you're talking about an athletic quarterback that can make a lot of plays with his legs. Can you find ways just to get him going? We always talk about that as a quarterback. The run game can just really give you a spark and confidence, the adrenaline, the juice. Can you get that going this week with him? Like, I would love to see Cade have 7 carries for 40, 50 yards.
Right.
I think if he gets that, to me, that's going to help really push this passing game, hopefully to levels and heights that Clemson fans were expecting through the first 2 games of the season. So Cade run the football. I don't want to flip it over to Georgia Tech now. We talk about confidence so much. We've talked about it in a few of these games. I do believe Key has instilled a sense of confidence in this team. I believe Haynes King has instilled a sense of confidence. It's the same thing we're going to talk about in this next game with Vanderbilt. When you have a coach and a quarterback that you believe in, that no matter what happens, I can have 2, 3 turnovers in the first quarter. We could be down going into halftime, but we still got a Pavia. We got a King. We feel like we're always in it. It does so much to the psyche of a football team. And like I said, Brett Keane, what he does in that locker room and on that sideline is awesome as well. So I think you're going to get a Georgia Tech team that doesn't give a damn about that this is Clemson, that this was projected as maybe the national championship team by a lot of people heading into the season, that they were the heavy favorites to win the ACC. I think they don't care at all. I think they go in there, guns blazing, swinging, tackling, running, playing hard, all the stuff that you talked about, what they do offensively, which is some of the best in the country. And I think Haynes is going to be obviously hopefully healthy after taking the week off. The only issue is if he isn't, and Aaron Philo is the guy or has to come in there, that is a problem.
It takes away an element. But he's
I don't want to get
passer.
caught into preseason
passer.
hype for Clemson on this one.
Yeah.
I think Georgia Tech can make this game competitive.
Yeah.
When
You're taking them to cover? 9.5 is the number. You taking the Jackets to cover?
I have to treat it every year as a new season, regardless of what happened through the first 2 games. And Clemson has been so disappointing through the first 2 games on offense. Until I see Klubnik play at the level I think he could play at, I'll go with Georgia Tech to cover. I think Clemson wins.
I think that's smart. I think it's smart, by the way. I think that is smart. You're going to hear, just as we heard your Georgia homerism, you're going to hear my homerism here. Listen, this Georgia Tech offense, and Buster Faulkner, they're gonna have a lot of eye candy. They're gonna try to confuse you. They're gonna have a lot of motions, a lot of different formations to run the same thing. Right. And Clemson knows that. They can see it on film, how they, do things. The key is, can you stop it? Can you stop,
Yep.
Jamal Haynes and limit cutback lanes, which he is so good at. He'll be pressing the play side B gap and then bam, out the back door on the backside A for 60 yards down the field for a touchdown. So you have to stay disciplined. You have to stay gap sound, which at times Clemson has struggled with. But just, I'm looking at that second half hard enough, man, and thinking these guys get it going. They play their best game. Give me the cover. I think they win by 10. And maybe it's late. Maybe it's a late score. Maybe it's something to push them ahead. But I do think this is a hard battle. I think this is a great Georgia Tech team. But ultimately, I think Cade saw enough where he reminded himself, and he gets it going in the run game, that the Tigers cover here and get it going in Atlanta, which has not been a favorable place. It's a tough place for them to play when they go down to Bobby Dodd. For whatever reason, historically, I don't think that translates this week.
It's like it's tough for you guys to play Troy. All these freaking excuses from Clemson.
It's just hard, man.
All these excuses.
Okay.
All right, last game we're going to cover real quick. Vandy at South Carolina. Both teams played Virginia Tech. Man, I went back and was watching the tape last night at Vandy, and I love the offense. I love, obviously, Pavia. Pavia looks like he's developed even more as a passer, like throwing the ball down the field, throwing dimes on go routes. They're running the ball at a very high level. The offensive line's working in sync right now. The defense has been really good through the first two games. I think Vandy's a damn good football team.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give the fact that Georgia Tech is a good football team on both sides. We also have to get through our heads that Vandy is building something pretty darn good there in Nashville. They can be competitive in these games, and I don't think you have a quarterback that's afraid that I'm going into South Carolina. I think you got a pit bull in Pavia that's throwing the ball better, that is an elite runner right now, and they just housed Virginia Tech in the second half. So they're coming in with a lot of confidence right now. Obviously, I love the Norse. I love what they're doing. I think that's a team that's going to continue to get better and better in the pass game this season. But I just think Vandy's playing better football right now than South Carolina, to be honest.
They are. I don't think there's any question about that, especially in the second half. The adjustments that we saw them make, I mean, they destroyed Virginia Tech in the second half. And the fun thing is, not fun for Virginia Tech fans, we just saw both these teams play that team in Vandy and South Carolina, and Vandy just put it on them. And so, South Carolina struggled, kind of one of those teams like Clemson, like LSU, clearly like Florida, and South Carolina that just, had a lesser opponent after week one into week two. And, they had a crazy delay. I get that 3-hour delay and just didn't come out and play inspiring football. I need more from Norse. I think he's one of the best in college football. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I need more from him. I think he is the better quarterback in this game. Is he playing better right now? No. Diego's playing really well, and he's super confident. As you said, the offense is really fun. Take that step. Is this the game that you kind of remind everybody, you gather all that, Heisman talk where you were the most bet on, the most money was bet on Lenore Sellers to win the Heisman? Is this the game that you start to turn that and you take over, whether it's passing, whether it's running? He's only averaging 2 yards a rush right now. That ain't, with that body and those legs and that ability, that ain't it.
That body.
Make it happen. You got to make it happen. So you got to make it happen there. I think he does. So again, I don't know why I have to talk so well about these guys so much. Give me the Gamecocks to cover. I think they make this happen. I think this is kind of their, just like Clemson, this is their remind people who they are type of game.
I'm going to go with Vandy. I'm going to go with what I've seen on tape.
I think
like
they've been it's a big week,
the
dude.
better
it's a big
football
week.
team to start the season. And I think they can make this game competitive. I think they at least cover. I think they have a chance to win the football game. So give me Vandy in the 5.5 points. That's it for today's show. We appreciate y'all joining us here on the Mac and Murray College Football Show. Don't forget, the goal is 30K. We're getting there. We'd love to get there the next week or two. So like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Go share it with a friend. Go show them some of the reviews that we're doing on the film breakdown. Some of the best you'll get across college football. We'll continue to do that. Follow us on social media as well, Instagram and TikTok, Mac and Murray College Football Show. And we will be back this Thursday. Chris Doring is going to join us to go more in depth on this Florida versus LSU football game. Give us his thoughts on our big game breakdown. Until then, we will see you on Thursday.
Okay.